Welcome to my channel. Subscribe and enjoy my new stories every day. In the quiet glow of early evening, I stood by the window, watching my two kids play in the fading light, their laughter piercing the usual stillness of our suburban home. Clover, with a gentle smile, approached me from behind, her hands resting on my shoulders. "Evan, I have something to tell you," she murmured, her voice a mix of nervousness and excitement. "What is it, love?" I turned to face her, expecting another mundane concern she might have stumbled upon during her day. "I'm pregnant, Evan. We're going to have another baby." Her eyes sparkled with tears of joy. At that moment, the world seemed to stand still. Joy surged through me, mingled with a profound sense of fulfillment. That's incredible, Clover." I stammered, pulling her into an embrace, the news overwhelming my senses. The thought of expanding our little family filled me with a new sense of purpose. However, as weeks turned into months, a gnawing feeling began to unsettle me. Something didn't add up. The joy of impending fatherhood was tainted by an inexplicable doubt that crept into my nights, robbing me of sleep. Driven by a troubling thought, I scheduled a visit to a fertility clinic, a decision Clover was unaware of. Just a routine checkup, I had lied, masking my deep-seated fears. The results, however, shattered the facade of my idyllic life. "Mr. Hawthorne, I'm sorry, but the tests confirm you've been infertile since birth due to a rare condition," the doctor explained, her voice a blend of professionalism and sympathy. The room spun around me as her words sank in. "But I have 2 children." My voice trailed off into silence. "I understand this is hard," she continued, offering a folder filled with test results. "These situations are incredibly complex." Complex? My entire marriage was a lie. The children I had raised, loved, and considered my own bore the secret of Clover's betrayal. The drive home felt longer than usual, each turn echoing the turmoil within. Confronting Clover didn't require planning. The betrayal, raw and unfiltered, fueled my actions. I found her in the kitchen, humming softly while chopping vegetables. The domestic scene now seemed like a cruel joke. "Clover," I started, my voice steady despite the chaos raging inside. "I went to a fertility clinic today. Care to know why?" She turned, a frown forming as she noticed the cold fury in my eyes. "Evan, what's wrong? How long, Clover? How long have you been deceiving me?" I slapped the fertility report on the counter, watching her eyes widen with shock. "Evan, save it. Just tell me one thing, are any of our children mine?" The room filled with a stifling tension, her silence confirming my worst fears. "I wanted to protect you, to protect us," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Protect? By lying? By cheating?" I scoffed, my heart hardening with each word. "Who's the father, Clover? Or should I ask, who are the fathers?" Tears streamed down her face, but the well of my empathy had dried up, replaced by a bitter resolve. "I will not raise another man's children under the guise of a lie," I declared, my decision final. "I'm filing for divorce, Clover. And you? You need to find those men who are the real fathers." Her pleas echoed as I walked away, the home we built together now a symbol of a shattered past. The plan was clear in my mind: legal separation, cutting all ties, a new beginning, alone. This was just the start, the rest of my life awaited, free from the shadows of deceit. The days following my confrontation with Clover are a blur of legal consultations and restless nights. As I sit across from my attorney in the stark, uninviting office, his words slice through the haze of my emotions. "We've filed for divorce on the grounds of infidelity, and given the circumstances, it's straightforward. However, the custody situation is complex," he explains, flipping through the stacks of documents. "You said you're not the biological father, but you've raised them as your own. That carries weight in court." I nod, the weight of the decision heavy on my shoulders. I don't want to abandon the kids. They're innocent in all this. But I need to know the full extent of Clover's deceit. I need the truth for any reconciliation with the kids in the future. The lawyer jots down some notes, then looks up, his expression a mix of professional detachment and personal concern. We can request a paternity test for the children as part of the proceedings. It's your right to know. Do it, I confirm with a resolute nod. The next steps are clear, but the emotional toll is immeasurable. Later that evening, I return home to find Clover sitting in the living room, the kids already in bed. The house feels different, cold, as if it mirrors the freeze between us. "Evan, can we talk?" she asks, her voice a soft plea. I pause, considering walking away, but then turn to face her. "What is there to talk about, Clover? The lies? Or the fact that you've turned our lives into a charade?" She flinches at my words but quickly regains her composure. "I made mistakes, but I did it because I love you. I wanted a family with you. Love doesn't deceive, Clover. Love doesn't betray," I retort, the bitterness in my voice more palpable than I intend. "Who are they, the real fathers?" Clover bites her lip, her eyes welling up. "It's not that simple. There was just one, from before we were struggling, when we thought we couldn't have kids. I never stopped after I found out I was pregnant with Ella. The revelation stings less than I expect, maybe because the shock has numbed me." "Who is he?" She hesitates, then whispers a name that drills into my gut like a bullet. "Mark. From my office." It was never meant to be more than once. The casual drop of the bombshell, Mark, a colleague I've met at company parties, fuels a new kind of fury. "And you thought you'd never get caught? Or did you think I'd just raise his kids without question?" "I don't know. I hoped we'd never have to face this," she admits, her voice breaking. "I want you to tell him. Tomorrow. He needs to take responsibility too," I demand, the plan forming rapidly in my mind. The next steps are clear: expose the affair, ensure Mark faces the consequences, and then rebuild my life on terms grounded in reality, not deception. "Evan, please, think about the kids," Clover pleads, reaching out, but I step back, avoiding her touch. "The kids will know I love them, that hasn't changed. But they also need to know that their mother made choices that have consequences. And so do you, Clover," I say, my voice steely. As I head to bed, the solitude of the room feels like the first honest breath I've taken in years. Tomorrow, the confrontation with Mark awaits. The unraveling of lies will continue, but so will the path to reclaiming my life, one painful step at a time. The fight for truth is just beginning. Morning light spills into the kitchen, casting long shadows as I prepare for the day. My mind replays the strategy over and over. I need to confront Mark, but it has to be calculated, away from prying eyes. Today, retribution begins not with a shout, but with the cold, precise movements of a man wronged. I drive to Mark's office, the address ingrained in my mind from the many corporate gatherings I attended with Clover. As I park, my heart pounds with a cocktail of anger and resolve. I remind myself that this isn't just about confrontation, it's about reclaiming control. Stepping into the office building, I'm greeted by the buzz of fluorescent lights and the murmurs of early morning chit-chat. I find Mark's office door slightly ajar. He's there, a phone pressed against his ear, his laughter echoing faintly through the gap. My hand clenches into a fist at the sound. It's the carefree laugh of a man who hasn't been caught. I knock sharply, pushing the door open. Mark looks up, his smile fading into confusion when he sees me. "Evan. What brings you here?" "We need to talk, Mark." "Now," I say, stepping inside and closing the door behind me, ensuring privacy for what is about to unfold. His brows knit together as he puts the phone down, studying me with a cautious eye. "Is everything okay?" "No, it's not. It's about Clover," I start, watching his face for any sign of guilt. There it is, a flicker of apprehension. You know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? Mark's face hardens as he leans back in his chair, the pretense of ignorance dropping away. I was wondering when you'd find out. The casual admission ignites a fury in me, but I keep my voice steady. You've been involved with my wife. The children I've been raising, I pause, the words heavy on my tongue, they're yours. Mark looks away, a sigh escaping him. It was never meant to hurt you. Things just happened. Things just happened. I echo mockingly. You think this absolves you? You destroyed a family. He stands up, his demeanor shifting as if deciding on his stance. I'm not the only one at fault here. What do you want from me, Evan? I want you to take responsibility. Legally, financially. You're going to acknowledge your children, and you're going to compensate for the years I spent raising them under false pretenses. Mark's jaw clenches, and for a moment, he looks as if he might argue, but then his shoulders slump, resignation setting in. What about Clover? That's for her to deal with. Right now, I'm talking about you and me, and the lives you've helped wreck. The conversation turns technical, discussing terms and legal implications. Mark agrees to a paternity test and to the financial support required if the results are as expected. Every agreement, every nod is a step towards retribution, or reclaiming of some semblance of justice. As I leave Mark's office, the weight of the morning doesn't lift, it shifts, morphing into a resolve hardened by the first confrontations of many. I understand now that this path won't just be about facing Clover and Mark, but about reshaping my identity as a man and a father. Driving back home, the resolve cements itself into determination. The fight for truth isn't just for me, it's a crusade for the innocent, my children. The road ahead is fraught with legal battles and emotional upheavals, but today, I've laid the first stone of a new foundation. Retribution is bittersweet, but necessary, and I am ready for the long fight ahead. The air is thick with tension as I sit across from Clover at the mediation room's stark, wooden table. Our lawyers flank us, a buffer zone that does little to quell the storm brewing. Today, the divorce proceedings reach their zenith, the culmination of weeks of legal battles and emotional strife. My heart, once filled with love for the woman opposite me, now harbors only betrayal and a seething desire for retribution. As the mediator outlines the terms, Clover's voice breaks through, shaky yet defiant. Evan, can't we find a way to? No, I cut her off, the word sharp, final. There's no us to salvage. Today, I end this charade. Her eyes, once a comforting sea of green, now reflect the turmoil between us. You're taking everything away. The kids, our home. You did that yourself, Clover, I reply coldly. Her betrayal, the deceit that spanned our entire marriage, festers at the forefront of my mind. The mediator clears his throat, signaling the continuation. Mr. Hawthorne has been granted full custody, considering the circumstances, and Mrs. Hawthorne will have supervised visitation. Clover's face crumbles, tears streaming down her cheeks. Evan, please don't do this. They need their mother. They needed a mother who could be honest with them, with me. My words slice through the room, severing the last threads of her hope. As the meeting concludes, the legal terms sealed, Clover's lawyer approaches, whispering something in her ear. But whatever legal advice he offers, it's too late. The path I've chosen is irreversible. Back at the house, the final stage of my plan unfolds. Clover's possessions, once intermingled with mine, are boxed and stacked by the door. When she arrives to collect them, the chill in my gaze meets her defeated eyes. Evan, save it. Everything's been settled. Your things are there, I gesture to the boxes, my voice devoid of warmth. You need to leave now. Clover nods, her movement slow, weighed down by the gravity of her losses. As she turns to leave, I call out, Clover. She stops, a flicker of hope igniting briefly in her eyes. Mark won't be offering you comfort either. He's moving away. Took a job overseas. Seems he doesn't want the mess you've created either. Her gasp is soft, pained, as if my words are physical blows. You didn't. I did. Consider it my final gift, I say, the cruel satisfaction burning bright as I watch her crumble. After she leaves, the house feels eerily silent. I wander through the rooms, each corner a testament to a life built on lies. In the quiet, the magnitude of what I've orchestrated hits me. The revenge, meant to bring closure, feels hollow. My actions, though justified in the eyes of a betrayed husband, have stripped away the very essence of what I fought to protect, my family's happiness. Weeks later, as I tuck my children into bed, their innocent eyes wide with confusion and sadness, a deep, unrelenting sorrow settles in my heart. They whisper a single, haunting question, why doesn't mommy come home? In seeking retribution, I've crafted a tragedy, not just for Clover, but for the innocent lives caught in the crossfire. The victory I envision tastes bitter, the loneliness a stark reminder of the cost of my ruthlessness. As I stand by the window, watching the twilight envelop the world outside, the realization dawns, revenge has not returned my peace, it has only deepened the wounds. In destroying Clover, I've dismantled the foundation of my own soul, leaving a hollow where warmth once lived. In the darkness, I understand the tragic truth. In my quest for justice, I've lost not just a wife but a part of myself, irretrievable and forever tainted by the shadows of vengeance.